Portugal is going through an important moment of change. Every week, new changes are announced, and all of this is causing anxiety, whether in immigrants who are arriving or even in those who continue preparing to come to the country. To help you today, we will tell you a summary of the main changes that occurred during the month so that you can stay up to date with everything that's happening. Subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and get ready to stay up to date with July's updates. Temporary extensions. The first information this month that we need to mention to calm many immigrants is that the Portuguese government has once again extended the validity of immigration and visa documents. Currently, what has been defined is that the date will be July 30th, 2025. If you've been following the news from Portugal for a while, so you know well that this temporary extension measure is similar to last year. This all serves as a response to the large number of pending cases that the country is dealing with. Currently, it is estimated that AIMA has about 410,000 immigrant cases on hold. Thus, the extension decision to extend the validity of documents ends up becoming essential to allow you to deal with the cases of the various immigrants who are in the country without harming their rights. For documents to be accepted under the same terms beyond the current validity, it is necessary to prove that a renewal has been scheduled. Portugal has also introduced other measures to improve the efficiency of its immigration systems and processes. AIMA has already announced changes to the procedure for scheduling residence permit services, focusing on making it easier. New centers. Another measure that is part of the government of Portugal's plans is to improve the infrastructure necessary for the temporary installation of foreign citizens. The government plans to build new temporary installation centers, CIT. The idea is that these new centers will aim to maximize efficiency and accessibility, meeting the emerging needs of the immigrant population. Family reunification. Many immigrants in Portugal are facing difficulties in reuniting their families. Even after more than a year of the process, many immigrants who arrived with a visa and brought their families are finding it difficult to schedule interviews and obtain residence permits for their families. This has created a feeling of constant insecurity, in addition to stress among immigrants. Given this scenario, the Portuguese government stated that family reunification processes were prioritized, and some measures have already been implemented, one of which is the support extended to 18-year-olds, bringing greater ease and peace of mind to families. Support and encouragement for foreign students. Another very interesting measure for young people who want to study in the country is that the government has sought to introduce new initiatives to attract and help students of other nationalities. With this, we will increase the number of scholarships available to foreign students, bringing new, more accessible education opportunities in the country. Furthermore, recruitment strategies have been developed to make the country more interesting for students from all parts of the world. Reinforcement in consulates. To be able to deal with the growing number in the visa issuance process, Portugal announced that it will hire around 50 additional experts in consulates from September, being a very significant measure at a time when the country needs an answer to the increase in demand, mainly after the country declared the end of the manifestation of interest. Here on the channel, we already have a video explaining more details about the end of the manifestation of interest that you can watch later to understand more. But with this, it is expected that visa applications from foreigners will increase more and more, especially from countries in the communities of the Portuguese language, where there are more records of visa applications in recent years. In this way, the new experts who arrive will have the mission of streamlining processes, reducing the waiting time for visa issuances, and ensuring that immigrants can obtain their documents much faster. President will fight for the return of the manifestation of interest. A few days ago, an important meeting took place at the Palácio de Belém. President Marcelo Rebelo de Sousa met with several immigrant associations to discuss the recent changes in immigration laws, bringing up some controversial issues and points that could be important in the future. During the meeting, representatives of the associations expressed their concerns about the new legislation and stated that it is negatively affecting thousands of immigrants in the country. The president then expressed his intention to fight to have some amended articles reintegrated, explaining that the new decree law is only a temporary measure, and said that he will fight so that in September, when the parliamentary review of the legislation takes place, the manifestation of interest can be re-established. The representatives also highlighted that the removal of the articles left many immigrants in limbo, making the process of being able to regularize in the country even more difficult. Another issue also discussed was for the president to find solutions to help immigrants who have already arrived in Portugal but are unable to meet all the requirements to obtain a visa. There is also concern among associations about the lack of Portuguese diplomatic representation in countries that send immigrants to Portugal, which further complicates the process of regularizing immigrants. Thus, September will be a crucial month to determine whether the promises come to fruition. Support for immigrant integration. Portugal is also seeking in these new measures to implement measures to support and facilitate the integration of new immigrants, as arriving in a new country, especially when the language is not the same, can be challenging. Thus, an effort to ensure that immigrants are also integrated into the labor market. One of these measures is the professional training programs that will be expanded, offering immigrants an opportunity to acquire skills and qualifications to adapt to the job market. The language barrier, as already mentioned, is a challenge for immigrants, and Portugal aspires to reinforce the supply, coverage, and frequency of Portuguese teaching for those who do not have the language as their mother tongue. Materials and guidance will also be made available to assist immigrants in multilingualism. Still, in the aspect of education, the process of granting equivalences in basic education is being simplified to allow the children of immigrants to continue studying without major interruptions. In the health area, the Portuguese government is creating instruments to facilitate immigrants' access to the National Health Service. Financial support for immigrants and civil society associations operating in the sector will be strengthened. Looking for reliable health insurance that travels with you? Check out our suggestion link in the description below. It's the go-to choice for digital nomads, freelancers, and expats who need flexible coverage wherever they go. Investment in technology. Faced with operational difficulties and criticism of the lack of efficiency in the immigration process, the government announced that it would invest a significant amount in technology to resolve these problems. It is estimated that 22 million euros will be invested to update AIMA's IT system, which currently has an outdated system. Many problems were identified in AIMA's administrative processes, showing that the system used has become outdated and resulting in significant delays, making life difficult for immigrants. In this way, with the investment and modernization of the system, AIMA hopes to improve and facilitate the numerous processes for requests for residence, family grouping, and other situations. Attracting workers to specific sectors. For qualified professionals in some specific areas, Portugal recognizes the urgent need for qualified labor in some sectors, and thus programs were announced to facilitate the entry of immigrants to work in different areas, such as construction. In this way, this initiative will open the doors to immigrants from different countries who have sufficient qualifications. The idea is that the program will not only facilitate the entry of foreigners, but will also seek to offer special conditions, which may include streamlining immigration processes and reducing bureaucracy and waiting times. Currently, Portugal has problems in the job market due to the lack of qualified labor, as many young people are leaving the country. Soon on the channel, there will be a video explaining better which sectors the country requires qualified professionals for you to better understand if you fit into some of these areas. Beneficial tax regime. Still, within these efforts to attract qualified foreign workers, the government also announced the reintroduction of a beneficial tax regime. In case you don't know, this regime is a flat rate of 20% of income tax for foreign workers who have lived in Portugal for at least 183 days and who also have tax residence in the country. This tends to make the country more attractive for new professionals, as the tax burden becomes more attractive when compared to other countries. With this new measure, the expected result is not only new qualified immigrants arriving in the country, but also an incentive for those already in Portugal, creating a better environment for professionals where they can establish themselves and prosper. Call to action. Thus, Portugal demonstrates that it is committed to changing its policies and better welcoming its immigrants who can contribute to the country's growth. However, everything is still very recent, and in the coming months, new changes may be established. So you must subscribe to the channel to don't miss any news. Are you considering moving to Portugal but don't know where to start? Our exclusive guide, From Nomad to Neighbor, is here to help. This essential resource will guide you through everything you need to know to live and earn money in Portugal. You can find the link in the description and pinned comment. These were the updates for July. If you like this video, you should check this one to learn more about the end of manifestation interest. Also, take a look at our playlist about Portugal immigration news. Click now, and I'll see you there. Ciao!